Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Minnesota Students, sponsored by the Minnesota Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at mn-acac.org. This presentation will be recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, mn-acac.org. Now, I'd like to turn it over to our presenters.
Hi, everyone. My name is Raul Aguilar, and Jr., and I'm this year's president for the Minnesota Association of Councils of Color, MNAC. I'll hand it over to Lee.
My name is Lee Parker. I'm with the College of St. Scholastica. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. We're going to try to give you a little example of what MNAC has been doing to serve students of color and over the years. And feel free to chime in with any questions you have, and enjoy this morning's session.
So what we'll talk about today is we'll introduce ourselves, but then we'll dive into a little bit of the diversity myths and facts and kind of the information that you'll need to know and what kind of address those before we get into the overview of the college admissions process and some tools and resources that will help you kind of guide and navigate your time while you look through your college home, really. So a little bit about us. The MNAC was established in 1991 and is a non-competitive post-secondary collaborative dedicated to improving access to higher education for Minnesota students of color. Like the students that we serve, MNAC is made up of diverse member institutions, including 2- and 4-year public and private colleges and universities, including individuals from Minnesota and the neighboring states. So how do we carry out our mission? We provide recruitment, education, outreach services to multicultural students and professional staff through a variety of college fairs. We offer a scholarship for our students of color and American Indian students. We provide professional development for our admissions counselors and staff, along with our high school counselors. We do a lot of networking activities and team building. We always say that we're the MNAC family. So we want to make sure that we're getting connected with each other so that we can make sure that we're all working together to help support all of our students here as they transition in access to college. We hold an annual conference for admissions professionals to make sure that we're continuously developing our skills that, to continue serving our students here in the state of Minnesota. So why don't we go into some of the diversity myths and facts here? Is this a myth or a fact? When considering diverse student applicants, selective college unilaterally bypass more qualified candidates from minority candidates. This is always a question for everybody, but it is a myth. So actually, those are just a secondary qualification. So myth or a fact, the term diversity, minority, person of color, and underrepresented candidates are essentially the same in college admissions. This is a myth as well. So here come some myth and facts to kind of combat those. myths that we talked about in the first slide there. So myth, all students look at, all colleges look at race and ethnicity as a part of application. Actually, the fact is that only 1/3 of colleges and universities in the United States consider an applicant's race as a factor in the reviewing applications. Can someone get into college just because of their race, even though they are less qualified for admissions? The fact is that college and universities are actually prohibited from using different standards when evaluating applications from students of different races. Where race is considered in the application process, it constitutes only a small part of admissions decisions. So now that you're looking at colleges, there's some things that you should really be asking yourself. As a first-generation college student myself, my parents did not go to school. My father immigrated from Mexico, and my mother grew up on American Indian reservation. So it was very much so having to think of questions and ask myself, where do I want to go? Where do I see myself? So questions that you really should be asking yourself: do I want to go to a 2-year or a 4-year college? Do I want to go far from home? I'm very close with my family, so do I want to be really far away from them, or do I just want to go down to the next town over to a community college? So there was different things that I needed to ask myself, but what did I see myself doing? What major did I want to do? And I think right now it's really hard to think of yourself like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And I have to decide that right now. Oh no, and I have to put that on this college application. So and it's okay to be undecided. So just know that. But think of go to a school that has a lot or just a few majors, just so that you have things to choose from. Think about the size campus that you want. I grew up in a very small town. I wanted to go to a big university. So that was the big thing for me. But then think about, like, do I want to go to a smaller school and be very close, get to know everybody, have smaller class sizes, or do I want to be a large class sizes? So those are some really big things to consider. And especially as you start to navigate them and visiting campuses, you'll start to understand these a little bit more. And admissions counselors like Lee and myself will be able to kind of help guide you through those processes as well and ask those very same questions.
Those are some good questions to consider while you're going through the process. This next 4 years or 3 years from now is all about you and what you need going forward. I'd encourage you to think about a school in these terms in 3 fits: the financial fit, the social fit, and the academic fit. And that gets to the major and the size of the school, but funding your education is the second biggest financial investment that people will make in their lives. Usually the first is the home or the business, but you'll spend a lot of time, a lot of money in financing your education. So it's important to ask these types of questions in addition to getting the help from people around you, because when people go and buy their house, they go get a realtor and they'll talk to a banker. But when you're making this huge investment, you need to be talking to some professionals in the field too. And you, unfortunately, are making it at a time when you're 17-year-old, 18-year-old, the second biggest financial decision in your life. Don't do it alone. Make sure you're talking with folks around you, your high school guidance counselors, the mentors that you have, your parents and guardians, and us as admissions counselors are happy to help you make an informed decision.
Thank you. And so when we talked about like looking through your options and who you're working with, you know, this is the education system that you're currently going through. Elementary, middle school, you did that. Now you're in the high school phase. Now you're going to be going to the next step of college. And there's options within the college systems. There's a 2-year college. There's 4-year colleges. There's public and private. As a first generation college student, I had no clue what any of those meant. So then it's graduate school, and there's a whole nother professional world after that. So getting to know these college options is going to be, some people's first time ever thinking about this, and some families' first time ever thinking about it. So it's okay to connect with folks to help guide you through that process, just like Lee was talking about there.
It's okay to consider the other schools. I know in the past it was like everybody wanted to get a 4-year degree, but I can tell you, if you're thinking about some of the trades, your plumbers, your electricians, and the likes, those people make a good living. I know every time the plumber comes to my house, he gets $300, and he's not here for more than an hour. So those are, if you're looking for a profession that will make you have a good standard of living, you might want to consider some of those other paths. It's not, everybody's not meant to go to a 4-year school.
Yep. So here's the kind of the college search process. And there's a few options that you can really take a look at. There's the Minnesota Office for Higher Education that has some helpful college prep resources. And really take a look at these, because there's a lot of lingo and a lot of jargon and a lot of like words that some folks just may not know, or folks just trying to understand. So take a look at those resource prep information, because you want to make sure that you're getting to be as much prepared as you possibly can, and you're educating your parents and family as well, so that they can help you with this too. There's a college navigator that you can take a look at. There's go-to college fairs to visit other colleges and universities, and check out and ask the questions that you need to want to know about what do they offer and how can they help you. And what's really great is that the Minnesota does have College Knowledge Month here. So we're able to help you explore, plan, and apply for colleges right away. So we talked a little bit about who can help you, and there's a lot of folks that can really help you. I know I utilized a lot of these folks myself when I was looking through colleges. So there's organizations such as College Possible, Mentoring Excellence Program, ADVID, the Office for Higher Education, who can really help guide that path and make sure that we're connecting you to college resources. Your high school guidance counselor. They may have, a planning sheet that says you need to take 3 years of math, 3 years of science, and making sure that you're checkboxing everything so that you're prepped for college. So talk to your high school guidance counselor. Make sure that you're getting to know about the scholarships, where to apply to, and how can you help finance college? So there's so much that your high school guidance counselor can help you with, but they may even know professionals in the fields like Lee and myself to help guide you through a different lens too, and help you showcase different areas of yourself too in these college processes. So connect with your college admissions counselors, because they're the experts at their institution to help you understand what they can do about applying for their college, visiting campus. Really, you can have a tailored experience at those institutions, and your college admissions counselor can help you with that. If you want to get to know a faculty member, a lot of college counselors are willing to help you sit down and meet a faculty member. And these folks will help you through your time here at college. So it's really great to have that. Connect you with a financial aid officer to kind of understand what everything is about financial aid. I remember my very first time applying for FAFSA. I had absolutely no clue what any of those words meant, and the numbers, that was well over my head. So I had to keep calling financial aid and be like, what does this mean? What does this mean? So it's okay to ask those questions, just so you know, because we're in this field to help you and guide you through that process.
And as you look at the organizations on the screen here, there's a few that stand out: the College Possibles, the ADVIDs, and some of the others. these are excellent organizations. And one of the main reasons why you want to get involved with one of them, one is that they can help you guide you through the process. But in addition to that, many colleges and universities will give you scholarships because you have participated in one of those programs. So just an FYI, get the help and get the dollars.
Yeah. And when you're thinking about scholarships, really take some time to consider them, because you really don't know what you're going to get. And if you take some time, like let's say an hour to invest into applying for a scholarship, and you were awarded $1,000 for just applying for that one scholarship and for 1 hour, I would really like to be paid $1,000 an hour. I don't know about Lee, but I would. If you look at it in that sense, you will have a world of opportunities when you take some time to really invest into these processes, okay? But a little bit about us. Like we talked about at the beginning, we do offer college fairs, and currently our organization went completely virtual. So we are offering a virtual college experience for Minnesota students here to connect with our member institutions, learn about our scholarship, but we would encourage everybody to really sign up for these college fairs. We do have the link on the slide here on where to go to sign up. And so then that way you can connect with college admissions counselors and folks like myself and Lee to help guide you through this process. Because again, we're the Manac family, and we would really like it if we could help guide you through that process in understanding how to get to college, okay? But here's some timeline that we would like to really talk about. And honestly, this really helped me as a first generation college student, because I had an admissions counselor come to my 8th grade class. And I remember that because they helped me plan to get to college. And this was a really helpful tool for me. So we would like to showcase it to you. So your sophomore year, plan those coursework, set yourself up for success, visit campuses. It's really big to go to campus and see if you can go and see yourself there. Right now, there's a virtual experience at the majority of campuses. So connect with admissions counselor and ask if they have a virtual experience. So then that way you can see if you can see yourself in those classrooms, see yourself in those mall areas, hanging out, see yourself in the student union studying, in those clubs and student organizations, because those are going to be your family and home for the next few years after high school. Ask your mentors, ask teachers and coaches what their college experience was like, and how did they go to college? What were their processes and steps that they did? And then in your junior year, explore college, do your research, start making a timeline of different dates, deadlines. College and universities tend to have different words and what it means to be priority or preferred, and ask those admissions counselors of what does that deadline mean, and what materials do I have to get in by that deadline, so that way you're not missing out on anything. So dig a little bit deeper, and schedule those formal visits. Take your ACT or SAT your junior year, so then that way you're prepped and ready to go for applications after your junior year. Because in your senior year, the timeline that you're going to want to make sure that you're following is your summer. You're starting to get that timeline out, and you're starting to make that list of schools that you're wanting to apply to, and you're getting those open research windows when they're open, and you're getting them in on those deadlines, like we said. And the fall and winter, get those applications out when FAFSA becomes available in October. Make sure you're connecting with financial aid workshops or your high school guidance counselor on where we can go to make sure that we're getting everything done for FAFSA, and have your family help you through this too, because then that way they can learn and make sure you're getting the best financial aid package that you can for college. meet with the college admissions counselors, because then we can help guide that senior year for you. Apply for scholarships. Like we said, um, it's free money. So take your time to really invest in those scholarships, because it will really help you and take the so much burden off of you when you're actually in school. So then that way you can really focus on your education, and take those ACT and SATs there as well.
But do know that the organizations and universities you want to apply to, more and more schools are starting to become test optional, and they allow students to write an essay in place of the ACT or SAT, or just simply don't require it. So make the preparation. If you feel like test score is a good indicator of your academic success while in college and in high school, go ahead and do that. But do know there's some other options out there.
And then your spring of your senior year, you're going to want to start visiting your top choices. Get specialized visits. Like I said, you can really get a chance to meet some professors, understand what the research that they're doing, the work that they're doing, the classes that you can take, and then make that final college choice that May 1st. And then in the summer, submit those final high school transcripts, attend your orientation, and register for classes. I work now on the student services side, and I get to see students all the time during their orientation and registering for their first classes. And it is really a rewarding experience to see the families come out and start getting their college pride clothes and everything. So honestly, you will have just a wonderful experience once you start planning everything out, because it is truly a wonderful time to start those first classes, and to see the energy is so wonderful. And that's the reason why I really love the work that we do here. So the different ways that you can apply for admissions. There's the common application. So many schools are part of these organizations. So you want to take a look at these sites here, because you can have an opportunity to apply to multiple institutions. And so take a look at the Common App, the Coalition application, the Universal College application, but then also take a look at the specific college that you're looking at too, because they may have some different processes and different information specific to that college. So connect with the admissions counselor, like I said, because we will help guide you through that process and understanding the best way to apply for that institution, okay? So that application process. Make sure you're making that college checklist. Like I said, those deadlines, send in those test scores if it's required, but if it's test optional, take a look at what you can do with sending those in, and ask your teachers and counselors for letters of recommendation. Make sure you're giving them a little bit of time though. Don't ask them the day before. So then that way they can really highlight how great you are, and how they can really showcase the wonderful things that you can offer to those specific institutions. Because again, teachers and counselors, we're all here to support you. So we would really like to highlight your best qualities. So college and universities can really understand how great you are, and how big of an impact that you made at your high school there, okay? And take a look at essays. If there's a required essay, if there's not, have somebody help you through those essays. Take a look, proofread them, so then that way you're submitting everything picture perfect. And I always say that because I want to make sure that the college applications, some colleges review scholarships at the time of application too. So make sure everything is just picture perfect, and just have somebody proof it. So that way you're not sending anything misspelled or anything like that, because that would be me. Let's be real. And then and then application fees. Take a look at those, because some schools may offer a waiver Some may have, like if you attend a specific event, you can have a free application. And we want to make sure that, you know, college access is as simple as possible. And so if, because application fees can add up, and we want to make sure that it's as seamless as possible. So please make sure you're getting to know your college admissions counselors, because they can make sure that they're giving the best advice in those college application fees, okay?
And some of the Minnesota state schools and universities will have a week of free application opportunities, and we'll even have a place where you get assistance with completing those applications. Is that October?
Yeah, and it just started October, yep. So here are some test preparation sites that we pulled together for folks. And just check if your institution is test optional. But if you want to make sure that you're preparing for these tests, here are some really great sites because they can help you make sure that you're doing the best in preparing for these tests as best as possible. So we did pull a list together here for you, and feel free to check out each of these sites and see if you can find the best one for yourself. Again, visit campuses, research before you go. As a first generation college student myself, my family did not go to college, and that was really big for me to research college, because I really wanted to make sure I could see myself there and see myself attending these schools. So attend special visit days. There's probably special events. Some institutions offer a free fly-in program. So take a look at if a college has a fly-in program, and see if you want to go somewhere further away or somewhere close to home. Talk with those students, faculty, talk with a current student, because honestly, those are going to be the really authentic experiences of what they're facing and doing, and that will have a really big impact on you. Ask to just see if you could go meet a student on campus and see what their student organizations are like, because then they'll be able to showcase the college life for you. Connect with the multicultural admissions counselors, visit the diversity or multicultural centers on campus, and then ask for specific scholarships for multicultural students, because then again, that's another way to have a specialized scholarship and free money for you to help finance college. And once you start realizing by applying all of these and the rewards that come from them, so take a look at those scholarships, because they can be very rewarding once you're actually in school.
While you're visiting in campus, you want to make sure you're also visiting the surrounding community, because you want to make sure that there's things in place that help through with the college experience, a good barber, a good grocery mart to go get the types of foods you like, and so forth, a beauty supply house, and those type of things. In the past, well, now you can get some of those things online, but it's also important to make sure that that community has stuff that supports your needs outside of the academic experience.
For sure. Thank you. And so again, it's all about finding the right fit for you. So again, make sure you're still asking those questions to yourself. Does this institution have my major or field of study that they offer? Some institutions may even have a major to create your own major. So you can combine programs together. So take a look at those too. Are there support services to help you transition into that college, and also your time here at those at colleges and universities? And again, Lee talked about the community. Take a look, does it have a meaningful connection for me? Do they offer activities and clubs that interest me? And take a look, does the college and university have your personal beliefs, goals, and dreams that they can offer? So it's all about taking a look at making sure you find that home for yourself. And so and if those college and universities offer the financial fit for me too, which is, can I afford to be here? Can I successfully graduate in 2 to 4 years by financing this institution? So, and one of the biggest things that we really tell our, we ask ourselves, will I be happy here and will I thrive? Because those are the big things that you're going to want to make sure you're asking yourself after you do everything, because sometimes that's really the biggest thing is, will I be happy here? And will there be people to help me make sure that I'm succeeding? So the cost of attending college, because we talked a little bit about the financing there, college can add up. So college application costs could be application fees, housing fees, testing fees, enrollment fees. So take a look at those, because there may be waivers, there may be other ways that we can avoid paying those, but again, they could add up if you're applying to multiple institutions. And what's the cost of attendance? Some folks say the COA. Is it the tuition and fees, the books and supplies, the room and board? And then here are some miscellaneous expenses that not many folks think about. Transportation, personal expenses, getting around everywhere. Is there cost to park on campus? These things do add up, and you want to make sure you're taking those into consideration, because we want to make sure you're financing college the best way that you possibly can. And so connect with us so we can kind of paint those pictures for you at our specific institutions, because each institution is different. And so there's some net price calculators and some FAFSA casts there that can help you, look at the cost of attendance between colleges there. So we added those links on the bottom for your reference. And here are some really good financial aid resources, and it's really FAFSA. Take a look at that, so then that way you can make sure you're looking at it's financial aid available in most forms. The aid that you don't have to repay, which is scholarships and grants, realizing that if you're assigned loans, you do have to pay back, but there's things that you can get as well through FAFSA, which is work study, military community services. And it's really good to have work study. A lot of my students that work for me have work study. And if you're not working, if there's nothing like big to do, you're studying. That's the purpose of a work study. So sometimes it's really great to be paid to study. So if you take a look at it in that lens. So make sure you're applying for that FAFSA, because that's really going to help guide the colleges to make the best package for you. And we pulled a big list of also scholarships and search engines to really help you, because again, it is free money, and you're going to want to make sure you apply to as many as you possibly can, because that's going to help you finance your education. And so here's a good list of scholarship search engines that you can take a look at, and just dedicate some time. Again, if it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, it could finance a year of school. That's really big. 2 hours to finance a year of school. That would be wonderful. I know my college roommate, she applied to a really big scholarship. In one night, she dedicated 10 essays to one night, and she financed 10 years of school for herself, both undergraduate and graduate school. So you just never know what you're going to get. So make sure you're considering this opportunity. And if you ever need help, again, connect with your parents, connect with your high school guidance counselor, or connect with us, and we can help guide you through that process. Here are some more scholarships. And these are really dedicated to our students of color in some areas that you can finance or take a look at scholarship specific to our race and ethnicity and multicultural students, okay? but also because our organization, again, we're the MNAC family, and we really like to make sure we're supporting each other. So we do offer the MNAC scholarship. So here's a little information on how you can learn about applying for our scholarship, when it opens, when it closes. So then that way our organization can help you as well by attending one of our member institutions and earning a scholarship. So there's a QR code there and scan. So then that way you can get directly linked to our scholarship. That is it. We talked a lot about, how to prep yourself. We talked about questions to ask yourself. We talked about, the timeline, the applications, the resources and tools. So do you have any questions for us?
There are no questions.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you. I want to thank you, both Lee and Raul. You guys, that was an amazing presentation, and you taught me some things that I also did not know. So thank you for your time today. I'm going to do a quick closing for all of our students, whether they're viewing it live right now or if they are hoping to view it later in recording. My shared window is gone. So to close up for you guys today, thank you so much for joining us. When you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we obviously would appreciate any feedback you can provide us. And for any students watching this on recording, please know that there are lots of other opportunities and learning sessions. So go back and just check all the different options of different things you can learn about with our admissions reps at mn-acac.org. Thank you guys so much.
Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.